Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is gonna be just like a raw talk video. I know you guys have been enjoying those quite a bit. I've been getting a lot of good feedback from those. Today's video is just gonna be about how I overcame emotions in trading, because if you guys don't know, or you probably already do know, emotions in trading is like a massive thing, right? Because trading is very, very mental, right? It's the mental game of trading, right? It's very a lot more mental than you would expect or you would think. And right now we're just chilling in the office. It's not gonna be, you know, a drive sort of video. I know you guys enjoy those drives. It's raining a lot outside. Here, let me go ahead and flip the camera. It's raining quite a bit outside. Or actually, I don't think you guys can see it, but it's kind of raining out there. Didn't feel like going out, but what better day to make a video about emotions on like a gloomy day? And we're just chilling here. I'm watching this one capitalist versus 20 anti-capitalists. We just got done with the trading day, just wrapped it up. But this isn't gonna be a super long video. It's actually be a pretty quick one. I don't wanna make it super long because I just wanna talk about how I overcame the emotional side of trading and what actually worked for me. But real quick, check out the top floor sign. Boom, that's the old logo, but I need to update it. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way. So the way I quote unquote overcame my emotions in trading, or the emotional side of trading, it's not how I overcame it, but how I actually deal with those emotions every day. Because let me just tell you guys straight up as this video starts, you will never, ever get rid of emotions in trading. What you can and will do though, as time goes on, is you're gonna learn how to deal with these emotions better. I'm talking about fear. I'm talking about FOMO. I'm talking about greed, you know, anxiety when you're in a trade. These four emotions are one of the biggest emotions in trading, and even FOMO, right? If I didn't mention that. These five emotions are very, they're something that can dilute your edge. You don't necessarily need a new strategy every single week. I see a lot of beginner traders hop from strategy to strategy to strategy, Discord to Discord to Discord, taking signals, just absolutely doing the wrong things when they don't realize, like I said at the beginning of this video, trading is a lot more mental than you would think. Why wouldn't you want to figure out a way to, you know, deal with fear, FOMO, greed, anxiety? You know, why wouldn't you want to figure out a way to deal with these emotions? Because let me tell you guys right now, as somebody who's been trading for 6 years, yes, I still get FOMO. I still have fear. I still have greed. I still have, you know, anxiety sometimes when I enter a trade with too big of a size that I'm not used to. I still have these emotions as somebody who's been trading for a very long time. The only difference between me and somebody who just started last week is that I know how to deal with these emotions better. I've been here thousands and thousands of times. And the way I would deal with, let's say, greed, because personally for me, when I was getting greedy in trading, or when I would get greedy in trading, is I would keep holding the trade when I was in profit past my, you know, predefined take profit levels. Maybe that's you right now, right? Maybe you're holding a trade after some level gets hit. You're like, I think I can squeeze a little bit more out. That is greed. Okay, so the best way to combat greed, let's say, is just having predefined levels and actually taking it out once it hits those levels. Because your job as a trader is to execute well, not try to squeeze every last dollar out of the market. I know a lot of people out there struggle with greed. And again, I still even struggle with greed, but not as much as I used to. So you might not want to hear this. The best way to deal with emotions is with time. As you show up every single day and as you figure yourself out, you're going to figure out ways, okay, this is how I'm going to deal with greed today. This is how I'm going to deal with FOMO. How I used to deal with FOMO. I'm going to give you guys breakdowns of all the four emotions that I just talked about, that I'm talking about in this video. How I used to deal with FOMO and how I still deal with FOMO is just knowing, because I've been here hundreds to thousands, fucking million times, man. I've been in the situation where price just rips up. Maybe it stopped me out and now I start getting FOMO. I've been in these situations before, and the best thing that I always tell myself, and this is personally what worked for me. Remember guys, this is probably not gonna work for everybody, and that's why I say with time it gets better. You learn how to deal with these emotions with time, because you will start figuring yourself out. But with FOMO specifically, I would always tell myself, there is another opportunity tomorrow. Maybe in the next hour or two, I would just keep checking back on my phone. And I do this to this day, right? If I missed out on a move, I'll just, all right, I'll step away for an hour. I'll step away until the next macro, and then I'll come back and look, okay, is there a setup forming? If there is, cool, I'll take it. If not, No biggie, no worries, bro, because I know already as a trader with 6 years of experience, there is always opportunities in these markets. And that's what I always used to start telling myself when I start feeling that urge to FOMO, to jump into a trade when my model wasn't present. It was just literally going up or down and I had FOMO. I would tell myself, you know what, it's perfectly fine if my level gets hit, because I know another trade is coming. And it will come. There's always a trade to take, bro. There's always a trade to take, whether that be in the afternoon, whether that be an hour after the move happened, whether that be, 5 minutes after the move happened. There's always a move brewing. Okay, so remember that next time you're dealing with FOMO. Now, a big one is fear. How did I deal with fear? The fear of entering positions, the fear of losing. And really, this is one where you just have to stop being a bitch. You literally just have to accept the risk and think about trading as a game of probabilities and really not be scared to lose. You can't be scared to lose, okay? If you have a fear of losing, that tells me that you're not very confident in your system and you don't know what your system is. You don't know the ins and outs and the nuances of your system. So my recommendation to somebody out there that deals with the fear of entering a trade or the fear of losing a trade when they enter, because fear and anxiety kind of go hand in hand, right? When you enter a trade and you're anxious, that means you don't have enough data to support your model's win rate and losing rate. You just don't have enough data or enough confidence, right, to execute that trade. So my recommendation is backtest, 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 backtest. Collect data on just that model. Do not deviate from that model. Don't start adding a ton of little other confluences, because what happens is if you go into backtesting and you backtest repeatedly, you live test the model even. What happens is if you start adding different concepts and different little models from other educators, you're gonna dilute that model's actual real data. So just load up a backtesting session, backtest for 6 fucking months, not actually like 6 months, but backtest like 6 months worth of data to a year. So that way you have a larger sample size. So that way when you do live test, and you should be live testing and backtesting simultaneously, not at the same time during market hours, but you should be like live testing every day, live testing the model. So that way you get used to actual real market movement, and also back testing after, market or before market, so that way you get warmed up, right? And a lot of people would just be lazy, bro. They'll be like, no, I don't feel like back testing today. Well, guess what? You're not gonna fucking make it then. You gotta put in the work, bro. I have hours and hours of back testing, bro. When I first started and when I really tried to kind of control the fear aspect of trading, repetition is what kills the fear, is what suppresses that fear. I'm not scared of entering. I'm hardly ever scared of entering now. I literally execute. If I see the model, I'm in there. Accept the probabilities. What's the probabilistic outcome of this trade hitting? Pretty fucking high according to my model stats and according to my, previous months, previous years trading this model. Pretty freaking high, right? So if you are scared of entering or scared of losing a trade, go in there, backtest your model. Know it like the back of your freaking hand, bro. Don't be lazy. Put in the work. It's because a lot of you guys just don't want to put in the work. That's just simply what it is. Now, the last emotion that I wanted to get to is anxiety, which is pretty much the same thing as fear. If you're anxious or you get anxiety about entering a trade, you're either oversized or you just don't know your model. That's literally it. There's no other thing that would make you anxious about a trade. I guarantee you, if you did the smallest size ever, you would not be anxious. Your anxiety feeling would go away. Execute with 1 micro. You won't have anxiety because you don't care. My recommendation, if you deal with anxiety a lot, if you have that problem of feeling super anxious, your palms get sweaty, your heart starts beating a lot when you enter a trade and it goes the other way, you're in a bit of drawdown, is you're probably oversized. So just lower down the size. As much as you don't want to hear that, that's what you got to do to get used to the model. And again, repetition, right? That goes back to the fear aspect. Repetition. A bunch of back testing, a bunch of live testing. And like I said in the middle or the beginning of this video, all these emotions, you'll start to figure out how you deal with them best as time goes on. And even if you haven't figured out, like if you don't put in the work to figure out, okay, how can I deal with fear, FOMO, greed, and anxiety? Even as time goes on, you won't like subconsciously know how to deal with those emotions because you've been in that situation hundreds to thousands of times. So with time, it does get better, but you also need to be putting in the work, because if you don't put the work in, just like in anything, you will not succeed, unfortunately, right? I wish everybody could just be super fucking lazy about it. We could just click a button without doing any work. Ooh, now I made 50 grand in a day. No, bro, it doesn't work like that. I've been at this shit for 6 years, and this is like, these are new levels even for me. You guys see these crazy P&L days? That's across multiple tens to dozens of funded accounts. This took me years to get to. It doesn't need to take you as long as it took me. However, these are ways that personally worked for me and what I used to do in order to combat these different emotions and how I overcame these emotions and how I pretty much better deal with these emotions. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, you will never get rid of emotions in trading. We are humans, bro. Humans are emotional creatures. We are not fucking robots. We are not robots, dude. We're just not. We're not robots, all right? We're never going to get rid of emotions. And like I said, at my level, I still feel some sort of FOMO. I still feel some sort of greed. I still feel some sort of anxiety if I enter with too much size. Sometimes I do fear entering a trade if I'm not super confident in a trade. Sometimes I do. I still deal with these emotions. You just have to figure out how you better deal with them. And again, as time goes on, you will find out how you can. But I just gave you guys 4 different ways for 4 different emotions on how you guys can better deal with them. Because like I said, you don't necessarily need a new strategy. Almost every strategy you see nowadays on YouTube works. Why wouldn't you want to work on the different emotions that actually dilute every single edge? Why wouldn't you want to work on those emotions? Work on better dealing with those emotions? Because I can give you a 100% win rate model. I've said this before, and somebody will still fuck it up because of those 4 emotions that I just talked about in this video. Somebody will still fuck it up. 100% win rate, it goes in drawdown a little bit. Oh, you get scared, you get out. Well, guess what? It's not 100% win rate. You fuck it up. Like, I could give you the best model ever. You can even even better, you can even signal bot me, and people will freak out of any little bit of drawdown and they'll get out because of their psych, their fear of losing, right? That goes back to the fear of losing emotion, the fear emotion. So you have to figure out how you can better deal with them. And I gave you guys what worked for me on those specific emotions. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, sub, comment what you guys want to see next. But hopefully you guys enjoy these little psychology talks. Like I said, I've been getting a lot of good feedback from these, and I really appreciate everybody watching these. To close off this video, just want to mention, if you guys are looking to work directly one-on-one with me and really overcome these emotions, I have a professional psychology coach in my mentorship program where you work directly one-on-one with me and one-on-one with him. He's the author of The Mental Game of Trading. His name is JTn&x. He's an absolute, stand-up guy. This dude is an amazing psychology coach. He deals with 9-figure traders and just a ton of other stuff. You guys get a bunch of stuff. But if you guys want to apply for that, work directly one-on-one with me and with JTn&x, the psychology coach, you guys can apply for that with the first link in the description down below or the first link in the pinned comments down below. Appreciate you guys watching the video as always. Have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one.